You're listening to a podcast from Middlesex University. The government wants the UK to become world leaders in today's topic. It's seen as the future of the construction industry, and Middlesex University offers the only distance learning masters in it. I'm Chris Jameson, reporting from the university's campus in Hendon in North London.
And I'm Tony Prideaux. I'm at a construction site in East London, and today we take an in-depth look at building information modelling.
I always say that we're not reinventing the wheel. BIM is basically more efficient techniques and methods.
For us, BIM is the dream of perfect information.
That is how revolutionary it is. Middlesex is playing a key role in that, and they should be proud.
Yes, this is the first in a series of podcasts getting under the skin of the work being done by staff and students here at Middlesex University. Construction is one of the largest sectors of the UK economy. It contributes about £90 billion and comprises over 280,000 businesses, covering some 3 million jobs. The government sees BIM as the future of this sector, so much so that it will be compulsory for all centrally procured government contracts by 2016.
Essentially, it's a way of working. It's a process involving the sharing and coordination of information about a building project throughout its entire life cycle. We're talking from design, through procurement and construction and beyond, into the operation and management stage, in fact all the way through to demolition.
And the UK's only distance learning MSc in BIM management happens right here. Dr. Nohar Salib is head of the programme and joins me now. Dr. Salib, what would you say is the benefit to individuals and the organisations they work for of studying this Masters?
One benefit is that the individual doesn't have to take any time off from work in order to study or to come to uni. So they can engage in all the activities and the webinars while in their workplace, attend the guest lectures and all of the participants from all over the world from where they are.
And how is the course actually structured?
It's divided up into 3 basic modules: technical BIM management, about the design, information and team collaboration management; then operational BIM management, about risk assessment, quality, the time phasing and etc. And lastly, strategic BIM management, about how to create a BIM implementation plan in an organisation on the whole.
The Masters is now in its second year, isn't it? What sort of feedback have you had from former students?
Well, we have a lot of testimonials on our website if you wish to read them, but the basic feedback we get is that the students are applying and integrating all the knowledge that they're getting from the course inside their workplace and on their current projects at the moment.
Dr. Salib, for now, thank you. I'm going to hand over to Tony now, who has a number of different people to talk to. First up, Tony, tell us where you are.
Thanks, Chris. I'm here at a multi-million-pound town development in Barking, which in fact is a BIM project, and I'm joined by David Miller, Chief Executive of David Miller Architects. David, how central do you see BIM, not just to your company, but to the whole construction sector?
BIM is a fantastic opportunity for the construction sector to reimagine itself in a much more organised and structured way. It's been a dream for 20 years or so to work towards perfect information, and BIM is enabling that to happen. The technology is maturing enough now to allow us to do that.
The case for BIM is pretty compelling, but why bother with a qualification in it?
Well, like all things in business, it's really important to be able to demonstrate capability, and accreditation and measurement is really important to us.
And I suppose many could claim proficiency, but this is about actually having a qualification.
Absolutely, it's really important to us.
Let's bring in Matt Collette from Middlesex University. Matt, explain how you work with companies like David's.
So initially we would work with a company like David's to help us design a very sector-specific and relevant qualification. And then David might like to send some of his staff on this programme to help him develop and retain talent, especially bearing in mind the UK and EU mandate on BIM.
There is an international dimension.
Yeah, the international aspect is really massive because we have a huge cohort of international students, but of course being a distance learning programme, it's agile enough that we can take it global.
And I think it would be true to say that it's a fantastic export opportunity for UK PLC. With the government mandate and the training that's in place within the industry, the UK is really seen as a leader in building information modelling.
Thanks to you both, and with that I'll hand you back to the Hendon campus.
Thank you. Dr. Nohar Salib is still with me, and Interesting what David and Matt were saying there about the international dimension to this.
Well, almost half of our participants are from abroad, so we have people ranging from Australia up to the US.
Time for another perspective on BIM. Earlier today I sat down with Peter Bishop. He's Deputy CEO of the London Chamber of Commerce. Really interesting insight from him. Here's a bit of our chat. Peter, thank you for joining us today. It's much appreciated. Tell me, first of all, about the role of the Chamber.
The Chamber looks after the interests of a few thousand companies in London by helping them in business introductions. And we campaign for business in London by trying to make the city the best place to live, to study, to work, and of course to do business.
So that's the context then. Tell us about the relationship that's been built with this place, Middlesex University.
Middlesex is one of many universities in London, of course, but it's unique in that it's creative and it's interesting. It's multicultural, representing London as a whole, and it's the way the Chamber works too.
BIM, finally, strikes me as a pretty ideal example of how the Chamber and the university have worked pretty well together.
The sector, the property and construction sector, is so important to London that when we learnt that Middlesex were running this postgrad course on BIM, work-placed one, we're absolutely delighted. We knew how important it was, and we've done what we can to spread the word both here and indeed overseas.
Well, that was Chris talking to Peter Bishop from the London Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Welcome back to the London Road construction site here in East London. We're reaching the end of this podcast, but before we go, we thought it would be interesting to ask all of our guests for their final thoughts on BIM, something that might just make you think about the whole subject in a different way. Here's what they had to say.
I'm David Miller from David Miller Architects. For us, BIM is the dream of perfect information enabled by technology, process and training.
I'm Dr. Noha Salib, Program Leader for the Master's degree in BIM Management at Middlesex University. I always say that we're not reinventing the wheel. BIM is basically more efficient techniques and methods in order to execute processes, workflows and collaboration within the construction industry.
I'm Peter Bishop, Deputy Chief Executive of the London Chamber of Commerce. BIM is changing the way buildings, utilities and infrastructure are planned, designed, built and managed. That is how revolutionary it is. Middlesex is playing a key role in that, and they should be proud.
I'm Matt Collett from Middlesex University. For me, BIM is about us helping to globalise BIM management, one professional at a time.
Great stuff. Here's how to get in touch if you have any questions or inquiries about this podcast or the work the university is doing on BIM. Email corporate@mdx.ac.uk or give them a ring on 020 8411 50 50.
The next podcast in the series looks at scholarship and development. We'll be presenting from Middlesex University's scholarship ceremony.
It'll be quite an event. That's coming in mid-November. Thanks to all our guests, and from Tony Prideaux in Barking and me, Chris Jameson in Hendon. Thanks for listening and goodbye.